The following is a Thorpe TV production, brought to you in cooperation with Jack Thorfinson. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time once again for the SOCS Show, brought to you live from MrHolster's ranch way up north near the Canadian border. Here he is now. Let's have a big round of applause for that unique YouTube personality. Here he comes direct from the bar, MrHolster! I'll bet he's coming direct from the bar, Jack. Where else would you find that drunken sod? MrHolster's the biggest. Oh, MrHolster. Hey, howdy, Parge. Yeah, it's me, MrHolster. Let's see what you got out tonight, Jack. Oh, Jim Beam Rye pre-prohibition. But is this all we got? Nope. Hey, you're right. I'm lucky I got it. I'm sorry, Jack, how quickly we forget. And thank you for spending your hard-earned gambling money. Doesn't seem right. Hard-earned gambling. Your hard-earned gambling money on libations for our program. Thank you, Jack. So, I know it's the same as last week, but I'm going to tell you about it anyways. Jim Beam pre-prohibition style rye, Kentucky straight rye whiskey, 90 proof. Let's pop the top on this one, as Machine Gun Kelly would say, and take a little whiff. Oh, Jack, yes, it is good stuff. Not the most expensive rye in the world, but it is indeed a very good rye. Let the viewing audience take a whiff of the cap. I know, I'm sorry, it's not a cork, because it's not the good stuff, but our ad revenue is starting to come back, I think, Jack. Yeah, I think it is. I think maybe we'll be able to buy a new bottle when this one's gone, maybe. Well, let's pour a little in the old ranch shot glass. West Texas dust. All things in moderation, but not tonight, Jack. I'm put it up to the top a little bit. The weather has turned on us, and it's gotten good. So, kind of in a celebrating mood tonight, aren't we, Jack? You can tell Jack's all fired up. To the sunny slopes of Rich, really Rich. You've got to wait a second for Rich. He had to nip out and get a beer. Can't you let Revolver have the key to the fridge? Okay, you ready, Rich? Those Kentucky boys. To the sunny slopes of long ago. That is good stuff, Jack. That doesn't heat you up and cool you down all at the same time. A little bit of chaser here. Oh. Yeah, it was a long, hard day, Jack. We got a lot of work done. We've been doing a lot of fencing. I tell you, I got up this morning and my feet hit the floor right after my head. Yeah, and I had a little bump, and the wife said, you better go down and talk to your doctor, Doc Shaky Hands. I'm sure you know Doc Shaky Hands. I've talked about him in the past. So I went down there to get an x-ray, and he took an x-ray, and my liver was throwing an olive at the camera. Doc told me that what I should be doing is I should be eating rye toast every morning. But you know, every time I put the rye in the toaster, the lights go up. He sent me on my way, but before he did, he wanted to know. He said, MrHolster, let me know. By chance, do you do a little drinking? And I said, well, I'll have one or two now and then. And he goes, really, when? And I said, well, I don't know, like something special happens, like the sun sets. But I never touch it on a full eclipse. When I got home, there was already a note in the mailbox from my doctor, and I got it out and looked at it and read it. And it was a note saying I should stop smoking, so I rolled it and I smoked it. Boy, Jack, you really are tuckered out again. I tell you, you gotta quit. You gotta quit burning the candle at both ends, Jack. This never-ending. Jack had three dates, 3 dates last night, and I heard from the bartender down at the VFW about your last date. Holy cow! Somebody got fresh with her, and you had to deck them. You're lucky. You're lucky. The bartender's a good friend with the sheriff. They were ready to lock you up, and he stopped them. This is what we're going to talk about tonight, guys. We're going to talk about, first off, we're going to talk about Jack's laughable excuse me, Jack, I'm sorry. About Jack's Smith & Wesson 380 Bodyguard. Well, I'm not, don't get upset, Jack. We've got it on the run. And I made a little video of this. I'll put a link to it right up here so you can go check it out. But I got this sight floated, and there was an easier way to do it. And the easier way would have been to use a sight pushing device, which I have. I didn't even think about that until one of my subscribers said that they couldn't get theirs moved, so they had to go buy a tool, a sight pushing tool. Which, of course, MrHolster's had one of those for 30 years. I didn't even think about using it. I had to laugh at that. See, Smith & Wesson isn't the only one to do stupid things. MrHolster does them too. But anyway, I got the rear sight adjusted here. And I didn't touch the front sight because it wasn't very far off. But it's shooting 1 inch off, so I'm going to have to bounce that over, yeah. It's pretty much dead to aim, but 1 inch over, exactly 1 inch over, Jack. And it's that front sight. I got to get that centered too. It's just a little bit set to the right, and it needs to be moved that little bit over to get it dead center. And if they would have put these sights on, in case anybody from Smith & Wesson is watching tonight, now I'm not a real expert, but I was paid to carry a gun for a lot of years. This is just a small little tip from MrHolster, and you can take it for what it is. Chances are most of the guns you produce will shoot point to aim if you just put the sights dead center on the top of the slide. Because, yeah, once I get them dead center, it's going to be perfect. And, of course, that one magazine that came with it is a total worthless piece of garbage. But this one worked flawlessly, and the gun really functioned flawlessly. And we get that one little thing taken care of for you, Jack, and you are going to be set. Yeah. Provided they don't pull your permit to carry after the incident at the VFW last night. Well, there we go. So that's the update on the infamous Smith & Wesson M&P Bodyguard 380. The laughable, yeah, yeah. After several hours of MrHolster's time, we'll have a working firearm here. Yeah. So there we go. That's that. The second thing I wanted to talk about tonight, well, matter of fact, I got this sight for a target right here, and you can see, I'll hold this target up so you can see it. It'd be kind of a novel approach. You can see right here, this is the Smith & Wesson. This is a shot with my Sig P239 I put here so I could use it to sight on, and you can see I'm over on every one of those shots. Right here, I shot the Jack's gun right off of centering it right below the 7. And I ended up here, and then I centered it right below that shot, and I ended up here. See, so it's shooting about 1 inch off. 1 inch off center. So, and it's that front side, I got to bump it over, and I'm sure when I do that, it's going to shoot just fine. But I was very pleased. This is the first time I was going to, I know, I was supposed to not shoot that till I had the other shooting range done. But quite frankly, this gun, this Sig, it was used to start with, so I say since it was used, I had a right to go ahead and shoot it. But I hadn't shot it yet. And one of the first things I did is I replaced the spring on the guide rod. And I'm going to pop a little thing into this show right here so you can see what I'm talking about. So I won't go into that, but I did that before I shot it because it was a used gun. See, here I am. I've got that Sig P239 that I bought recently used with the DAC trigger. And I'll put a link to that video up above. But if you'll see, before I'm using it, I'm replacing the guide rod spring. And this is why you need to replace your guide rod springs every now and then. Different guns, different times. But it keeps your gun from beating itself to death when the spring starts getting tired. Of course, at a flat spring like this, you don't have to replace it quite as often. Just thought I'd mention that real quick, in case you're buying a used gun. Very inexpensive item to replace and make a big difference in the longevity of your firearm if you routinely replace that component. And wow, what a fantastic gun. This one is a Sig P239 SAS model with that DAC trigger, and I'll put a link to that video I did on it, or one of them I did on that, in case you want to go check it out. But oh, it just shot very nice. I just really like this gun. Of course, it has 7-shot magazine, but shot at 21 feet to 10-yard areas where I was shooting it, and there's a little grouping on there, and there's my second little grouping, and I was very happy with that. For the first time I shot it with that double action only. Well, it's kind of a little different. It's double action. It's a double action only trigger pull. Really a great, fantastic gun. I'm really going to enjoy this gun, and this gun is going to be MrHolster's backup gun for when he's around here and isn't going anywhere. This will be the gun I carry. This is it, because I really won't need a handgun when I'm here at the ranch, because I'll have either old Nellie Bell, my 30-30, or Natasha, yeah, my Vepper, or perhaps that Shockwave. I might have my Shockwave. So this will be a secondary gun, because I'll have those guns as my primary gun if I'm lounging around the place. We don't do much lounging here, but that'll be, and that takes the place of my old car CW45s that I decided it was time to step up my game a little on, because I was depending too much on those, and I wanted something a little nicer. And when I saw this, it just seemed to be a good replacement. It's a little bit wider and quite a bit heavier than that gun, but it's just a great old gun from the 90s, and yeah, I really like this gun a lot. I really like this gun a lot, and it very nice wood grips. I really like the wood grips. Yeah. I know they don't do it this way anymore. It's kind of a dated firearm. Two-tone, stainless steel, and blued with the wood grips. And a double action only. It's a square revolver. Just the kind of thing MrHolster is crazy about, because he's a weirdo. So I thought I'd talk about that, because that right there is a fantastic firearm. I am so lucky I saw this that day. And you know, when I got this gun, if my memory is correct, which my memory isn't so correct, it's kind of off all the time. I'm pretty sure I got this gun by trading my Kel-Tec for it. I'm sure that's the one I traded. My Kel-Tec Sub 2000 in 40 Smith & Wesson, I traded it for this, which was a great trade, because a few weeks later, I walked into the gun shop and they had a Kel-Tec Sub 2000 in 9mm, which is what I wanted. And I got that. So it all worked out in the end. Just some simple trading and no money exchanging hands. Well, little money exchanged hands in the second gun. I got 2 guns that day, and I traded 2 guns. And I had to pay a little extra, and I'm going to push it off on the other gun. which really isn't accurate. This was $500 is what I paid for this, and I got $400, and if my recollection's $425 for my Kel-Tec Sub 2000, which I paid $449 for it, so I was happy with that, and paid $500 for this. So that, yeah, technically, but I pushed it off all in the other gun. Yeah, So, very happy with this gun. I'm very, very, very happy to have made that trade on this gun, and worked out great. Now I've got a sub 2009 millimeter that can go with my Glock 17. So I'm happy all the way around. Worked out great, and it's just such a fantastic gun. You know, it's not very often MrHolster gets this excited about a firearm. Just a great gun. So there you go, guys. There is Jack. Wow. What, you got a hangover or something? You've had one all day long. Well, that'll teach you. That'll teach you, Jack. And you drove my truck home, too. Yeah. What do you mean the bartender drove it home? Eddie drove it home? You let Eddie drive my truck? That cockeyed, he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with a beanbag. Lucky my truck mate. I'd rather have you driving it home drunk. We're going to talk about this later, Jack. Before I leave you tonight, I'm having a contest. It's called the American Gunfighter 5000 Sub Giveaway, where I am giving away a $350 gift certificate to Brownells. And all you got to do to get in my contest tonight is, number one, you got to be a subscriber. Yeah, because how else do I get the 5,000 subs? Number two, like this video. And number three, in the comments section down below, just type in what you're thinking and tag it with 350. There you go. For MrHolster and Jack. Well, Jack, I think you're gonna like that gun. I think it's gonna work out well for you. It seems to work pretty darn good. Just a little bit of adjustment on that front sight, and you'll be good to go. Yeah. And I sure like mine. We should be happy right now. Happy we live in America where we can own a firearm to defend ourselves and our family. Yeah, sorry I'm keeping you up. Jack, you know, maybe you should just cut back on the dating just a little bit and get some sleep. Either that or start finding yourself a gal who's got a nice place and just spend the night there. Well, from MrHolster and Jack, may the good Lord take a liking to you. Now go out and stay safe. 16 minutes and 58 seconds of your life you'll never get back again.